That's great. Yeah, I want to talk to you about Duke in a minute. By the way, don't hate me, but I'm a UNC fan, so sorry, man.
Sorry to hear that.
It's a great rivalry, though. Gotta love it. So I wanted to ask you, Mike, do you play fantasy football now?
Yeah, I do. Obviously using our own platform, and I was playing with a few teams as we were kind of leading up and kind of doing a little bit of our own development and looking and really, I think getting a lot of user feedback from other fantasy users, non-fantasy users, and honestly, what we're trying to do, we actually want to increase the fantasy market by attracting those who aren't your typical fantasy users,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because again, we're now going to be attracting folks who may have a different motivation than your average fantasy player, right? Like
Right.
the motivation to support a charity and or win an experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one can argue that there are people who are motivated or incentivized by those things who don't play fantasy sports and would be willing to take on learning, or maybe they've been interested in playing fantasy sports, but now this kind of gives them a kind of positive environment to do so. Because I'm sure you know, there's been a bit of a negative connotation around daily fantasy sports.
Of course.
Recently.
All
So,
too familiar.
they-
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
that's absolutely a great idea, because those people who are probably first learning are thinking, "Oh, I'm just throwing money away," but they're not, because now they're donating to a charity. So no matter what, as they learn, they're doing something good, which is a great way to.
Yeah, and we put in a few things to kind of minimize that unlevel playing field, if you will, right? So like we have a limit on the number of entries you can put in for a tournament.
Mhm.
We don't want somebody coming in bankrolling the whole thing, and we still run it. Then we run into the same issue of kind of the less than 1% winning 97% of
Mhm.
our prizes. So in it's little things like that. Another thing that we've done also is we've actually started to expand the platform outside of traditional fantasy. So in the last few weeks, we've been kind of internally testing a few different game models that we've gotten some really good feedback on.
Oh yeah.
Because what we did was, we realized that even for the Patrick Peterson thing, there was a lot of people, who were interested and saw a lot of value in it. Were like, man, this is amazing. Like, I would love to do this. Oh, but I don't do the fantasy thing. And it's either too intimidating. They don't have the will or desire to learn. So some people were kind of just. They were like, we'd rather just donate the money. Because they actually feel that they have less of a chance to win by playing fantasy, because they know that they assume they're going to be playing nothing but experts
Mhm.
with the algorithm and things like that. So what we started to do is create, a few different game types that allows kind of the more casual sports fan to still play and compete, but just in a different way. So we have a few different game models that we'll be rolling out here in the next couple weeks.
Cool.
One of them, obviously, we'll still have traditional fantasy. Then we'll have what we call simple fantasy, where now instead of building a lineup of 9, you build a lineup of 4, where you pick 3 players of defense, and then you predict the total score of the Monday Night Football game.
Okay. Yeah, that
So it just
that, that would definitely level the
gives a
playing
little-
field.
Yeah, it just kind of makes it a little easier in terms of picking players, and we've gotten really good feedback with the Monday Night twist in it. Another one we did is over under on, call it OUO.
Mhm.
Basically, our version of over under prop bets.
Okay.
To where you'll have a projection. You pick some matchups, have a projection. Cam Newton's projected to throw for 300 yards against the Falcons or whatever, and then you just simply say over under, or if you think you're going to have exactly 300 yards, you pick on. So it's just little different things that it's still a gamification, because really what we're doing is gamifying it, and so it allows people to play in this game environment while giving back. And
Right. That makes total sense. Of course, you got to be careful not to make it totally luck based, because then, of course,
Oh, right.
you risk going offside on all those statues that are in front of the court now. I mean, The argument being that fantasy sports is absolutely a skill-based game, which I believe is a valid argument. When you're talking about traditional fantasy. So you said you play. How's your team doing this year?
Well, I play on our own platform, so mine has been weekly. I've actually been doing pretty well on our own platform, and obviously I can't win our own prizes, but
Yeah.
it's been pretty good. And we actually, honestly, we have a what we call the Magic Draft tool. Now this is pretty unique, I think, from any other platform. But again, catering to the non-fantasy guru, we created a tool where you simply click a button and we have our algorithm put together a roster for you within a matter of less than a second. And so I've been kind of testing that and using that a bit as well, and it's actually been pretty well for me.
Cool. So do you play season long at all, or just daily?
Just daily right now.
Okay. So if you were playing in a dynasty league, like a keeper league, who would be your top pick?
Man, I'm not sure. Let's see.
All right, you can think about that for a minute. Tell me, we'll get back to that. Tell me, what was your proudest moment of your career at Duke?
That's a good question too. Proudest moment at Duke, like playing wise, or just like being?
I'm sorry?
Like playing wise?
Yeah, your playing career, yeah.
Proudest moment was probably. Probably when we beat my senior year. Well, there was a couple, but I guess the most recent one, senior year. We beat UVA at home. We beat them pretty good, and I ended up having I think we beat them 31-16, and I was named National Defensive Player of the Week. Had I think it was 15 tackles, an interception, a forced fumble recovery.
That was 2008, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would probably be. Yeah, something like that.
Who's the best teammate you ever had?
Damn, you got some great questions. Best teammate, college or pro or
any game any team you ever been on? I don't necessarily mean the most skilled. I just mean the guy who was just the best freaking teammate. Just there for you in the trenches.
I would say Vinny Ray.
Vinny Rice?
Vinny Ray, Vincent Ray. He's the linebacker for the Bengals.
Vincent Wright. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
No, Ray.
Ray.
R-E-Y.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course. Yes. Where'd you play with him at Duke?
Yeah. So Vinny was I don't know if he goes by Vincent or Vinny, but I call him Vinny. Vinny was he was kind of my he was a year under me. We actually were the same year, but he got gray shirt. It was kind of a crazy story. Duke had to make a choice, and I came in, and he came in the year after, and Vinny was very, very raw. He came from New York, and was just a raw talent. And I'm coming from Texas, where we had football as a class in high school. We had 2 days every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I was much more fine and working with Vinny and really, I think help teach him a lot around the game itself. But Vinny was a warrior. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We went through some ups and downs, obviously, at Duke, and one guy that you can always count on that's gonna be there late night in the film room with you, early morning in the weight room with you. And, on that 4th down, we need you to make a stop. We're going to be in the big gap we're supposed to be. So, Vinny by far was probably my best teammate. Obviously, kind of my right-hand man. Being the 1 and 2 in linebacker.
How about the most talented player you ever played with?
Shit, easy. Well, I mean, it's either 1 or 2. But on the defensive side, I'll just say like Dwight Freeney.
Mm. Yeah, he's pretty talented. He had a pretty damn good career.
Yeah, when I first saw, like, when I saw it in real life, like in person, we were doing pass rush drills. It was pretty cool to see it in person. Like the spin move and the different moves that he had, it was like water. It was like
Yeah.
it was seamless. So
Like, glad this guy's on my team, eh?
right, exactly. And obviously Peyton, but yeah, there's a lot of guys in that era. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Who's the hardest player you ever had to play against? Like your toughest opponent ever? Who just always kicked your ass, or just you just had a real tough time getting one up on?
I wouldn't say kick my ass, but I would say always, anytime we played these guys, I always made sure I knew where he was at. Dwayne Brown from the Texans. He this was when we were in college. He played for Virginia Tech, and was their
ACC rival, yeah.
He played across the whole line, but I don't know why. I think obviously by my junior, senior year, I was in there, or my sophomore, junior year while he was still there. I was in there game planning him quite a bit. So he would always make sure he knew where I was at. So
yeah, there's always that one player that just kind of is your foil somehow. Who's
nah, he got me a couple times, and I definitely got him. He got him a couple.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, it was fun for sure.
Who's playing now, would you say, that most reminds you of yourself?
Damn. Who's playing now? I would say I'll probably say Luke in Carolina.
Luke Kuechly?
Yeah. I mean, just a student of the game and all over the field. One of the things that I always prided myself on was, I wasn't the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, numbers-wise, but, you got a guy with the ball, I'll be the first one there to put him on the ground. And, a lot of times it was because of the how serious I took the craft of pre-snap reads and game planning and understanding, the game.
Mm-hmm.
Student of the game, and I think for Luke, obviously he's a great athlete as well, but
Oh, yeah.
He's able to get sideline to sideline and make some really good plays, and I think a lot of it has to do with his preparation.
Yeah, he's done pretty well for himself. Who would you say has been the greatest influence on your career?
Greatest influence on my career. I mean, I would say David Cutcliffe. Although my time with him was relatively short, just because he came in my senior year, and then my senior year came and went.
Sorry, I didn't catch his last name.
David Cutcliffe, the head coach of Duke University.
Oh, Cutcliffe. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and Cutcliffe was instrumental. I mean, in terms of career going forward and life, he put a lot of things into perspective once he got there, and kind of taught us all on that Duke team, what we weren't doing correctly or what we weren't focusing on that we should have been, and then really just teaching us about life. Something that I still go by now. We called it the 4 F's, right? And kind of how your priorities should be. It's your faith, your family, your future, and then football, right? So obviously we know what faith is, your family. Your future was, for us at that time, was about, getting your schoolwork done and getting the damn Duke degree, and then football. So, those kind of lessons that they instilled in us every day was helpful, not only on the field, but obviously off the field as well. And I think what Duke has been able to do since that 08 season up until now, even though this year's been a little rough, but they've done quite well under his tutelage, and so even my short time there was pretty impactful.
That's a good map for life, for sure. I know we're almost out of time, Mike, so one more question. Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, shit. Who to win the Super Bowl? would like to. I mean, who I think who has a real shot of winning, or who I would like to see win.
I think no. Just who do you think's going to win? Favorites aside. I mean, I'm a Charger fan, but I'm not holding out hope that they're going to win. You know.
No, definitely. I mean, it would be great to see the Raiders there, but I mean, I guess the Patriots are kind of on all levels right now.
Yeah.
And I've never really been a fan of like teams.
Mm-hmm.
They sound weird. Because I played and because I played at a certain level, like I'm more of a fan of players and guys. And so I'm always rooting for my friends that are in the league. So, the Patriots obviously have some tools, and one of those is Martellus Bennett, and we grew up together. Him, myself, and Mike, we all went to high school together. Mike's married to my cousin, so I'd love to see the Patriots, in there. And
yeah, because they haven't been there at all. Like they don't have they need an extra hand with all the rings they're gonna have.
Yeah, well, more so Martellus, but I'd love to see the Cowboys too. They're hitting on all cylinders.
Oh yeah.
The rookies down there, and I'm from Houston, grew up a Cowboy fan like Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman. So if I'm tied to any team, it's the Cowboys, and now it's not a bad time to
No.
root for them.
No, Tony Romo's injury was the best thing that happened to them, apparently. Unbelievable.
All right. So I would say the Cowboys and the Patriots.
That's awesome. Now, did you give any more thought to who you would take number one in a keeper league? Like this is basically for fantasy, the player you would build your team around, the top pick. You can pick anyone in the NFL.
Build the team around.
Yeah, because you got the number one overall pick.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now, I would probably say I would probably still go with Cam. Honestly, I mean, he's still putting up numbers.
Yeah. He's not old either.
Probably go with Cam.
Cam Newton, good choice. Yeah. I mean, he's not running as much, but he's not old, so
Yeah.
he's had to turn himself around pretty good the last couple of years. MVP last year.
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. That's pretty much all I had to throw you, Mike. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about Win-Win or anything we didn't touch upon?
No, I think we covered it. I mean, the main thing is, people can go visit the website. We have the mobile apps rolling out here in a few weeks. We just wanted to do some testing around the web app, but people can visit the site, see the upcoming tournaments we'll have released here in the next couple of days, and
Awesome.
I love all the feedback. So definitely suggest that people do that as well.
Great. I appreciate your time, Mike. Thanks a lot. Shane